Revs are rising, red lights on. Out they go, and it's a good start again from Robin Dorr, as it was in race 1 in that Diamond, the 50-year-old Clubman's car with a cross-flow engine, gets the jump on the Fiat Fire engine 750 Formula cars. It was this way in race 1, but he couldn't hold on to the lead. David Reed it is then in second, and it looks like he might get the lead back by the time they get up to the hairpin, Wilson hairpin for the first time when he does. So it's David Reed leading, Robin Dorr second, Richard Rothery third. Not a great start that time from Bill Cowley, he's fourth. Richard Jenkins is fifth, and then the rest of them going through. Not a brilliant start either, I don't think, either from Mark Windley either. So we'll keep an eye to his progress as this race goes on. Out of Palmer they have gone, down towards Agostini they go. So it's Reed pulling away here, and yeah, this is what he would want, isn't it? Although, having said that, Bill Cowley up on the inside of Richard Rothery for third place. Second place net is not what he would have wanted.
No, we saw there a really great example of how Cowley struggles for straight line speed, not really getting anywhere off the line. Complete opposite story to race 1, where he absolutely bolted. And you saw there getting the pass for second done on the brakes, and or for third, I should say. And managing to get ahead of Richard Rothery there. Now, don't forget as well, Bill Cowley was stuck in second gear for most of the race this morning from lap 2, he said. And that is why Richard Rothery was able to get close. Let's see what he can do with a fully healthy car. Does seem like he won't quite have the answer for David Reed at the head of the field. But at the moment, looking very good for second as it stands.
Yes, so of course, Cowley was concerned whether he'd need a new gearbox, because I think he was on his last gearbox already. So
he changed one this morning after qualifying.
Yeah, and then he was worried he might need to change another one. So quite what they've done to mackle something together, I'm not quite sure. But either way, he's about to take second place. There's Thomas Llewellyn pulling off onto the grass in the number 58 ADR2. So it's Reed leading. Who's second over the line? It is Robin Dorr, then Cowley, and then in a straight line Richard Rothery. And the PRS is able to get alongside Cowley. Can he make the move complete by the time he gets to Rich's? Yes, he can. So third is Rothery, fourth now is Cowley as they go across the line. Then it's Richard Jenkins in the Shepherd fifth, and then it is in sixth place the 35 car, which is David Winter, who's out there in the race kits Merlin.
So again, we're seeing the Cowley being beaten down the straight by the PRS machine. So Rothery up into third position. So they're still trying to get around the Robin Dorr Clubman's machine. That was very impressive at Silverstone, but a few more slower corners here where the Clubman's car cannot really utilise its additional power, its superior engine capacity. 1600cc engine compared to the 1108cc Fiat Fire engine in these 750 Formula cars.
It'd be quite a bit heavier, I think, as well than some of the 750 Formula cars. Not necessarily all of them.
Yes, but it's such a tight package, isn't it? That
It is.
That machine. Oh, this is Cowley.
That's tight.
Yeah, that looks like a bump draft down the Bentley straight from Bill Cowley there, didn't it? On Richard Rothery, still hasn't popped out. You barely see the Mark IV. There's the. That's Rothery going through. Oh, through the middle. And they both got round Dorr as well doing that. That was cracking stuff from Bill Cowley.
It was, wasn't it? Great fun. Bill Cowley sort of right in the toe. He couldn't have been any closer to the back of Richard Rothery's car, and popped out. And by the time they got there working together, they'd both got ahead of Robin Dorr. So they go second and third. Dorr is fourth. Monoposto racer of many years. Richard Jenkins is having a good weekend. I don't want to put the mockers on him, but he's having a strong weekend there in fifth place overall. And just looking at what he's done so far this season, he's had a fourth and a fifth and a 10th as his best result so far this season. I think he's had some reliability issues, so I think he'll certainly take a couple of results up in the top 6 this weekend.
See, Conway Dawes just made a pass for 8th position over David Winter, who is our Class B leader. although there is no difference in the specification of those cars. Class B is for drivers who have not yet had a podium finish or finished inside the top 6 in the championship.
There's Mark Windley. Now he's running 6th at the moment, so a little bit better than earlier on when he finished 7th. And obviously that 6th will be net 5th when you take Robin Dorr out of the equation. Still not what he would have been hoping for. Now car 33 is getting a 10-second penalty for a false start, and that is the race leader, David Reed. I mean, I didn't clock that at all off the start, but 10-second penalty for David Reed for a false start. So, well, I mean, it's not impossible that he could win this still, because he's already 5 seconds ahead. He's in the best lap of the race at 2:11.5, but providing he gets the message now, David, he can get his clog down and hopefully still win this race, Chris.
Well, Cowley was 1.4 slower than Reed last time around, but he was squabbling and doing that dive in the middle of the Bentley straight on 2 cars. So this is his first flying lap in clean air. And we'll see if the pace is enough for Reed to try and pull what would need to be another 5 seconds over Cowley in order to negate that 10-second penalty. But yeah, it's more dramas for David Reed, the championship leader. Still going for that 4th win of the season. It was mechanical woes this morning, and now in this one it is a false start. And yeah, I confess I wasn't looking out the window for that particular start, so I didn't quite clock it myself.
No.
Let's see what the pace is for Cowley here. Reed goes across the line. That was only a 2:12.3. He was in the 2:11s last time around, well inside the 2:11s, and it's a 2:12.4, so only a 10th slower for Bill Cowley.
Yeah.
If they keep up that pace, there's no way David's coming away with this win.
Yeah, he needs to pull out Bob on that. I mean, there's still more than half of the race to go. We've only had 3 laps. It's probably going to be a 7-lap race again. So still nearly 4 laps to go here for David Reed to pull away, but he needs to now do it at more than a second a lap in order to maintain his victory here on the road. Now, Mark Windley, though, is right with Richard Jenkins now, so the gap between those has come down. There, Windley was a second faster, I should say, than Jenkins on the last lap. Jenkins in the number 26 car, that's the Chequered RR01B. Mark Windley in the Derby that Peter Bove has taken to several championships in recent seasons, and he's gone through there. So up to 5th place now has gone Mark Windley in that sort of Dayglow car. It's a new colour for this year. It was sort of orange when Peter Bove and had it, and Robin Keary also won a championship in it in those colours.
Yes, I think we discussed this at Silverstone, but I make it 4 titles. That car is won between Robin and
At
Peter.
least, yes. Yes, Peter's certainly had a lot of success in recent seasons. But Mark Windley taking that car on from Mallory Park at the end of last year and had a big off at Gerrard's Bend, so it basically needed to be rebuilt for this season.
Now, Richard Rothery could do David Reed a massive favour here if he's able to disrupt the race 1 winner from this morning and force him to squabble, compromise his lap times, and help David to build that gap. Otherwise, we are looking at back-to-back victories for Cowley, and he would be taking a 4th win of the season. I matched David Reed's win tally for the season this morning. The pace last time around, oh, that's a bit more like it for David Reed. 1.4 seconds he pulled over Bill Cowley, doing the fastest lap of the race at 2:10.3. The gap up to 6.6 seconds with just under 6 minutes left on the clock.
He basically did on that lap what he needed to do, I think.
Yeah.
So he's got to do that now every lap over the next 3 to make sure of things.
But was that one lap like the lap that was going to make the difference, where he didn't pull that huge gap?
Worth noting though, that 2:10.372, which is now the best lap of this race, that is still 1.3 seconds slower than he managed in race 1. So he has got more time up his sleeve.
Probably trying to be a bit conservative, knowing that the car was a little fragile this morning.
Maybe.
Cowley is probably doing the same, to be honest, especially if he's running out of parts, transmissions in particular, because they're not easy or cheap to come by.
No, so he'll be mindful of that. But he's a fierce competitor, is Bill. And he will have an eye on the championship title this year. He'll love to win it again, I'm sure. He's already won it once. And would have loved to be a repeat champion. He won the title back in 2017, wasn't it? He took it, yeah, in the Cowley Mark IV. Now here's Richard Rothery, trying to get the place away from him, but no, he can't quite do it. Bill Cowley sort of swoops around the outside and maintains position in the championship.
And
Bill
very,
in the lead.
very, very handy for David Reed there, just to have Cowley a little bit compromised there. It's going to help him just build that 10-second margin. He needs a little bit more. Could be the second race of the day that is decided despite a time penalty,
Yes.
rather than because of. As Richard Rothery follows in the wheel tracks of Bill Cowley out of Murray's. As David Reed starts lap number 6. It was 2:11.0 last time around, still 1.3 seconds quicker than Bill Cowley. Gap up to 8 seconds now with 2 to go.
He's doing enough.
Yeah, that will be enough, unless the pace suddenly falls away or Cowley manages to pick up his pace, but it doesn't look like that's possible at the moment because he's having to defend from Rothery behind him.
So it's number 33, David Reed, that's leading on the road, but he does have this 10-second penalty hanging over him, but he is 8 seconds almost exactly ahead. As a problem for Richard Jenkins, who's just pulling into the pit lane exit. His hand was in the air as he came over the line, and the driver that was 5th at one point is now out of the race. Marshall just rushing up to assist him as necessary. But it looks like he's fully off the circuit at least.
Yeah, there is a little access road right by the pit lane exit, which is incredibly handy for Richard Jenkins there. Real shame to see. He was having a very good run here in this race, and the marshals just pushed that car fully over the white line and a little bit further into that access road, so should be no need for any additional intervention. There are just some double waved yellows down the start and finish straight while those marshals are at the scene. But it's always difficult when you have yellows on a big straight like that, because
and they can go in now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The marshals have managed to push that all the way through. Side by side for second again here. Richard Rothery on the inside, and it looks like this is going to be the place is being changed. Now Cowley braving it out around the outside, getting very, very close, and the PRS gets pushed out onto the curbing and a little bit further. So Richard Rothery showing his hand there, and Cowley pulling out a pickup too.
Yeah, and you'll never be any doubt with Bill Cowley that you are in a race. He will always push hard. Now, interestingly, I can see that Mark Windy is catching Robin Dorr behind him as well. Of course, Robin Dorr not gaining points in this because he's in an invitation class, but Mark Windy might gain track position here. There he is in the Derby, just hassling the diamond as they head on to the centre straight. Now, the gap is nearly 10 seconds now, first to second. It's 9.679 seconds between David Reed and Bill Cowley. So really, David Reed only needs another 3/10 on this lap to maintain the victory. And the way Cowley and Rothery have been going at each other, that I think, Chris, there's a good chance that he'll do that.
Yeah, 2:13.3 last time around for Cowley, with that little bit of side by side through the Brundle and Nelson complex, plus a little bit more defensive driving. That's put the gap at 9.6. And so long as David Reed doesn't make any big boo-boos, he should quite comfortably come away with this victory, I'd have thought. As we see again that battle for second place, this is what is deciding the race, potentially in favour of David Reed, despite the 10-second penalty for a false start. Cowley continues to lead Rothery through Agostini and then into Hamilton. This is the part of the circuit where the Cowley should extend an advantage a little bit, but then we get onto the Bentley Straight where the PRS will have a bit more speed down the straight, throwing a little bit of toe there as well. And we saw they were side by side a lap ago. There's David Reed, well clear. Rothery pulls out to the outside this time. Cowley with the slightly more favourable line. Doesn't matter, because by the time they get anywhere near the braking zone, it is Richard Rothery well ahead. But Cowley coming straight back at him on the outside, and again manages to get that manoeuvre done on the inside at Nelson. And that one was even more impressive because he was fully behind Rothery when they went into the corner.
Certainly was. Now, their battling, though, has been a godsend for David Reed, I reckon, who is just about to appear over the horizon to take the checker flag, which is being made ready. Other cars going on to their final lap, but the checker flag is now out, and David Reed has taken it. And now it's a question of counting to 10. Is it we're going to get there before Bill Cowley comes over the line? I rather suspect that we are, and it is Cowley that gets taken yet 0.925 seconds behind on corrected time. So by 10.9 seconds, Reed is ahead, but that is enough for him, with even the 10-second penalty applied for him to beat Bill Cowley. Richard Rothery third, Mark Windley fourth, Robin Dorr in fifth, and Stephen Littler in the Mallock, second of the Classic Clubman's cars, takes sixth position. Seventh place going away of Conway Dorr, good effort from the back of the grid. Eighth, I think it's going to be Simon Bolton. Ninth, Alan Bunter, and 10th, Hugh Davis. Alan Bunter winning. It looks like he's going to win Class B this time, because Colin Marshall, who won it in race 1, is in pit lane, I think. So he's had some dramas that time, I'm afraid, in the Star. But yeah, I mean, that was an interesting race, wasn't it? You got two things to watch. You got Cowley against Rothery, but you'd also got David Reed against the clock.
I'll tell you what, it was closer than I thought it was going to be as well. I thought it'd be more than a second at the very least, but yeah, 9/10 of a second on corrected times. David Reed to Bill Cowley. And is that that's the Richard Jenkins car, is it? Not
no, it's Martin Depper, I think, number 70, that's also stopped in the Centaur. So he stopped out on circuit somewhere on the final lap, I'm afraid. Another victim. A few DNFs in that race by the looks. A couple in the pit lane. David Winter, Colin Marshall. I think Joe Gorolini was in and out of the pits as well. Let's have a look at the result. At the end of 7 laps of racing, David Reed it was in the HRD Mark II, the ex-Dave Hodkin car, that took the victory in car 33 by 0.925 seconds on corrected times from number 77 Bill Cowley. Third place went the way of number 17 Richard Rothery. In fourth place, 69 Mark Windley. Then our two Classic Clubman's cars, 78 Robin Dorr and 156 Stephen Littler. Then in 7th place, number 12 Conway Dorr, 8th number 6 Simon Bolter. Then our top 2 in Class B, running out the top 10, 28 Alan Bunter and 11 Hugh Davis. Then 11th was number 17 Martin Dapper, 12th was 46 Dan Welsh, 13th 58 Thomas Llewellyn, 14th number 89 Joe Gorolini, and then 15th was nobody, because that's Richard Jenkins, who along with Colin Marshall and David Winter were non-finishers. So that is that as far as 750 Formula is concerned for this weekend. Not a bad day overall for David Reed. Slightly probably in favour of Bill Cowley with that first and second, but David Reed I think will still head to the final meeting at Croft in pretty good stead in the championship, and I think Mark Windley will still be in contention, but it's probably going to be Reed versus Cowley in that final meeting of the season next month in the north of England. So just looking over to my right, and I can see that we've got cars on there slowing down up about to head into the Parc Ferme area. We've got one more race to come this evening. That's for the Armed Forces Race Challenge. That's going to be a 20-minute race. Second race of the day for those cars. It's been, I'm not quite sure what's happened to the top 3. Have they got off and done another lap or something?
I think they might have all been ushered back into the paddock.
Or they've gone straight through,
Yeah, no one is greeting Kieran Mock down in Parc Ferme.
They already met him after the first race, so they probably didn't want to do that again. So
once was enough.
Yes.
I think everyone's just gone back into the paddock.
Yeah,
so.
It looks like it. I don't think they've been hauled into Parc Ferme this time. So, I mean, Kieran's there. He's standing in front of the camera. I think he's probably going to pretend there's people to talk to, but no, nobody's going to speak to him, I'm afraid, after that race. So, what shall we do? Shall we take a break, possibly? Let's go to Kieran, and he can tell us what's going on, or more to the point, what's not going on.
There should be a car here and there and there, but we don't have any of the drivers, unfortunately. But yeah, obviously David Reed just managed to eke out that victory. Obviously 10-second penalty, managed to get in that last lap a second over Bill Cowley and Richard Rothley. So very, very impressive racing, and obviously Bill Cowley and Richard properly side by side through that final couple of laps as well. Really nice couple of bits of racing from them. Obviously, it's a shame we don't get to see them again this weekend. They've had 2 races today, but we'll see them again in a couple of weeks' time. But coming up now, we have the final race of the day, which is the Armed Forces Challenge.